This video is brought to you by the Disc Golf Nerd Patreon support team. Go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd. What's up, guys? Welcome to my review of the Innova Star Lion. Big thank you to friend of the channel, friend of mine, Chris Caulfield, for sending me this disc to test and review. He's been a huge supporter of my channel in a number of different ways, and he's also supported me personally, and I really appreciate Chris's support. He's been a huge ally to the channel over the years, and thankful to be able to continue to work with him. He sent me some more plastic to review, and this is one of them. So take a look at this guy first of all, the Star Lion. Beautiful disc. I really like the design. The artwork here is solid. Here are your flight numbers, 5402. I would say I agree with those for the most part, for sure. So I don't believe this is a hot stamp. I believe this is the in color system that they do. That's very similar to the Dynamic Discs Dymax process, where it's more of printed onto the disc than hot stamped onto there. I could be wrong, but I believe so. Another one they did recently is this amazing Star Eagle. It's just one of the cooler discs I've seen in a long time. I'll be reviewing that shortly, so stay tuned for that. Really good looking disc. I dig it, and it's very cool. They have a lot of different color variations you can get, but I like the yellow and the blue. Good looking disc. So, taking a look at it, it's got kind of an average shape to the flight plate in here. It'll pop a little bit, but not really, nor is it super flat. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. It has a bead, and I believe this is a VTEC disc, so it has some kind of mass, the way the rim protrudes out, similar to a Wombat, which I'll show you in just a second. And then it has the bead there as well. Full max weight, 180 grams on this one, and it'll say Lion stamped in there, which I like a lot. But yeah, very unique, interesting looking disc. It is similar to the V-Rock and Foxbat, the Wombat. All those type of discs are quite similar. Here is a Wombat. So the Wombat, much more of a pronounced dome to it, and it's got more of a pointed front edge, but you can see how the kind of rim protrudes out there, and then it has the bead, reminiscent of each other, but they're very different in actual execution, but a similar concept in terms of the design. There they are. Also, we have a Latitude 64 anchor out of my bag. This is my favorite overstable mid-range. Definitely more overstable than the Lion, but just something that I'd like to show it up next to. Much more of a classic kind of traditional beaded mid-range shape for the anchor compared to the Lion. And then also, Innova workhorse, been around forever. The Gator, this is a Champ Gator I have here. Definitely different. It's got that big blocky squared edge. Bigger bead, I'd say. A little bit fatter bead as well, but just might be something you're familiar with, so I like to compare to stuff that you might know. All in all, good feeling disc in the hand. The Star plastic is well documented here on the channel. It's a beautiful premium plastic. It's got a nice grip. Although I think something about this process takes away a little bit of the grip, because this isn't the grippiest Star disc, nor is this one. But then if I compare that to another disc I'll be reviewing soon, this Roaming Thunder, with a regular hot stamp on it, similar plastic, has a little bit more grip. So I don't know if that might be something that happens with the in-color kind of stamping here, but I don't know. It's not super grippy, but it still feels good. And Star plastic takes a long time to break in. It's really well documented, high quality premium plastic, and I think a lot of players really like it. Let's talk about the flight of this thing. We have James helping us out once again. It pretty much matched the flight numbers. I could see it being maybe a speed 4. It seemed a little slower than a speed 5 from my testing, compared to some other mid-ranges, but it's all quite subjective, and there's some variation in there, of course. Flight numbers are just a guideline. Don't worry about them too much. But if this disc said 4402, I wouldn't question it really much at all based on my testing. This thing is pretty stable to overstable. It's a little bit more overstable than I was expecting personally. I thought it might hold up to speed a little bit longer before the fade kicked in. It's got a pretty consistent fade, and it's pretty strong as well. All in all, a very solid kind of workhorse mid-range that you know what it's going to do, but it's not so overstable that you can't get a flight out of it. I pulled it over on Anheuser a couple times to see how it would behave, and it would definitely hold that as well if you put it on a strong Anheuser and follow through. It would hold that down and kind of flatten out towards the end of the flight, but it wouldn't completely come out, depending on angles and wind and all that stuff, of course. But it'll definitely hold some different flight angles and release angles out there, but for the most part, I think most people are going to use this thing for flat shots that finish left, or nice mid-range hyzers that are really consistent. Again, not so overstable that you can't throw it, but it's not flippy in any way, has very low natural turn, and it really holds the line well. So it's a very consistent disc. You know what it's going to do when you throw it, but it doesn't have too much of a fade, and it'll still get out there a little bit. I think it might be better for more experienced players than a new player, but if you're a new beginner type player and you had this disc, I think it would be a really nice kind of chip hyzer disc for approaches and shorter holes when you don't have a lot of arm speed. I'm not getting much distance out of it personally, but it is something that I feel is pretty accurate and consistent overall, and definitely a solid addition to the Innova lineup. That is my review on the Lion. Not a whole lot else to say about it. Thank you so much to Chris Caulfield for sending me this disc to test and review. I'll talk to you later. Bye.